Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. What do you say, Major? You want to make a little cameo? There's a tank in the background. I'm surrounded by my dogs. I'm in the wild woods of my backyard. And I wanted to make an introductory to a video here. And I tell you what, Major really has turned out to be a great outdoors dog. Yes, St. Bernards are mountain dogs by nature, but he has turned out to be a good dog even in the thick woods here in Virginia and even in the swamps. So, all right, go pick on Tank for a while. I wanted to make a video and talk about a knife in particular, and send out a big thank you to knifehog.com, who contacted me a while back, and they asked me that I could, or they suggested to me that I could go to their retail store, online retail store, and pick out a couple items and take them and use them and maybe make a video about them, and that's what this is. This is one of the two knives and a small axe that I'm going to be doing some videos on. This first knife right here is from Ontario Knife Company, and it's called the Blackbird SK5, and it is an outstanding knife. And I want to give you just a couple of details about the knife before I show you the clips of when me and Major were in the woods. What was that, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago? Anyway, this obviously has a spear point blade, as you can see, 5 inches, has an 1/8 inch thickness on the spine there. The spine is good and sharp, and I'm going to show you all that in a minute. Now, the steel used in this knife is 154 cm, which is a premium stainless steel used in a lot of different pocket knives and things of that nature. And I find it to be a very good steel for this knife and for this purpose. Now, the purpose for this knife, as I see it, is a bushcrafting knife, a survival knife, a hunting knife, something of that nature, a camp knife that you would carry with you, or backpacking or something. It is fairly lightweight. The handle material is a canvas micarta, and if my camera does focus up really nice, you'll be able to see the weave of the canvas, and it hasn't been polished, so it's still kind of grippy. Now, I've used this quite a bit in the kitchen and a little bit out in the field doing some different tasks and things, and I find this to be an outstanding knife. The 154 cm steel doesn't appear to be brittle, and I have used it for some pretty rough work, like batoning, and you'll see that in a minute. And the flat grind of the blade, and even though it's only 1/8 of an inch thickness, really makes this knife exceptionally well with working with food items, slicing, dicing, cutting, carving, tasks of that nature, which is really what you're going to look to for a good survival knife. A good survival knife, in my opinion, should excel more towards the more finer tasks than it does towards the heavier tasks. I'm not so much looking for a knife to pry open a car door. I'm looking for a knife to clean game, to maybe make other wooden tools that are going to assist me along the way, things of that nature. So the sheath that comes with the knife is a pretty good sheath from what we see nowadays from knife companies. It's made out of ballistic nylon. It has a little insert here, but it's not a plastic insert. It's just kind of a material folded over to create a nice place to hold the knife, and it holds the knife well. It does have a retention strap, and I think the designer must have been left-handed, because when you put the knife in to wear a right-handed person, you'll notice that when it comes open, this little part here is hinged, right? And it's right out of the way, but right-handers are still dragging the knife across the retention strap, and that's not really a deal breaker to me, because I really don't know if I'm going to keep this sheath for its purpose. I may get a different sheath for this knife, or if it really bothers me, I can just cut the stitching and turn it around. But all in all, pretty decent sheath. And of course it has MOLLE straps and things of that nature, and kind of a tactical look, but I don't know if this would be a tactical blade. I guess it could be. It has enough of a guard on the bottom to prevent it for thrusting and stabbing your hand running up the blade there, but that's going to be to folks that have more experience with that, not for me. As an outdoors knife, I think it really excels. I want to thank Knife Hog again for giving me this opportunity. Really nice knife. And now you're going to see some footage of me and Major when we were out in the woods a couple weeks ago and doing some cutting and carving. Oh, wait a minute. One thing I do want to talk about is a lot of people talk about stainless steel and the fact that it can't throw sparks from a ferrocerium rod, or and I want to dispel that right now, right here in front of you. Okay, this does have a good sharp spine, and a sharp spine is good for a lot of things. One of them being scraping materials, maybe to get some tinder for starting a fire, and another is because a lot of people use these mish metal or ferrocerium rods or ferro rods or whatever you want to call them. And I have found that stainless steels work just fine as long as there's a good spine. Since this has a good spine, allow me to show you that this really can shoot off the sparks, and I hope this is showing up well. But this will throw sparks as well as any high carbon steel. I don't know where that got started, that it has to be high carbon steel to throw these sparks, but as you can see, it is just throwing showers of sparks. All right, folks, now on to the footage of me and Major out in the woods in the Dizzle Swamp and a little bit of botany.